My time will be organized when I create a flexible, balanced schedule which allows for the accomplishment of my life goals. Again, that's whether it's yours or whether we're talking about the student. So you're creating it because remember, you can manage your time, you can manage yourself, but you can't manage the time. And a schedule, which I know for some people is a very difficult idea. Okay, this is a really important piece because it makes time visual, so for people that are visual. So if you had a shoe cubby organizer that only has 24 shoe cubbies, then you can only have 24 pairs of shoes, except that in shoe world, if you bring in other shoes, you can put them on the floor, or you can put them on top, or you could get a whole nother cubby. But in the world of time, all you got is the 24. So if you bring in another shoe, because you've said yes to another volunteer activity, or the child has said yes to another sports activity or whatever, you got to take a pair of shoes out. Okay, so children need 9 hours of sleep. 9 shoes gone already. School, got school in here for 7 hours. Okay. Of course, we got some drive time. Not that they're driving, unless they're older, but you're driving, so that's time they can't be doing anything else. They've got prep in the morning and the evening in terms of getting ready and everything. By the way, this shoe analogy works for adults too. Homework, I only put an hour. That's probably a really low estimate. Okay. Exactly. Okay, so, but look, in the space of a day, if they only have 1 hour of homework, they only got 4 hours left. So, if you're thinking in terms of sports, or piano, or art, or that kind of stuff, or if you think in terms of, oh, we got 2 hours of homework, or 3 hours of homework, we got less shoes. So, this can actually help, again, you can do this kind of a thing with your child, because you can show them why they don't have time for this. Or in terms of homework, why things aren't getting done. So, time concepts. There's daily time, which we just showed with the shoe cubbies. There's weekly time. There's monthly time. There's a length of time. Okay, so if I asked you all right now how long it would take you to get home tonight, give me a number. Everybody can chime in. Okay, so everybody told me a number, and I'm going to right now tell you that you're wrong. And you know why I'm going to tell you that? Because you're not counting the time it's going to take you to walk from here to your car. And if you have to park in the driveway or on the street, you're not taking into account that kind of time.
That's why I'm lazy.
And that's why, for example, tonight we began at 7. I knew I wanted to be here at 6:30, so in my calendar, I wrote, I'm over in Cary, so I want to give myself extra time. So I actually blocked it off starting at 5:30. And I said, 7 p.m., Endeavor Charter School. Because I needed to allow for the travel time, the fact that it was rush hour on 540, and that there were people that were going 60 miles per hour in a 65 zone, and the fact that I wanted to get here early. So I allow for that on my schedule. You always have to allow for white space in your schedule, which means your students always need to allow for white space in their schedule. So length of time is a huge thing, and for most of us, the length of time we think something is going to take is absolutely wrong. Okay? And that's from routine tasks to new tasks. So you always take what the time estimate is and you double it. Because if nothing else, you might actually have 2 minutes to go to the bathroom or something. So length of time is huge with students. And you can work on that with timers. Now, this timer, which we do have a couple over here, I love the 10-minute, 5-minute warning bells. But this is not the only timer. I mean, a regular timer can help some people. The old kitchen timers that I think of, the tick, tick, tick. This one's silent. I tend to like that. What I meant to bring and did not, because I did not write myself a note, and if I don't write a note, I don't remember, is something called a time timer. And a time timer is a wonderful thing because it's sort of like a pie. And that when you move it, if you move it 20 minutes, then a third of it turns red. And as the time goes away, the red goes away. So people can actually see the time going away. Timetimer.com, I believe, is the website for that one. So again, you would be surprised, and your student will be surprised, because it's so visual, it will help some of them. Task importance, that comes to prioritizing. Okay, so I have to leave for Antarctica tomorrow at 11:30, and guess what? I'm not packed. level. This is huge. Is your child a morning person or an evening person? You know, are you a morning person or an evening person? Because sometimes that can be the communication thing. You're a morning person, you are ready to go, and they are so not a morning person. You know, so there may be some tasks between chores, etc., that if you can toggle between morning and evening, maybe it needs to go to the other time of the day, because that's going to be better for them. Practice. It's hard to teach it, but you can actually ask things like, if you have 10 minutes, and they have we'll say in this case maybe they have fun things they're working on, but even not, we have 10 minutes until we leave. What needs to get finished? I mean, it all depends on the situation. I know for me, it was, okay, what has to be done before I return? That was my, so there were a lot of things that I wanted to get done. But when push comes to shove and the taxis come, it is what has to be done before I get back. It had to be done. And so a lot of it is asking, sometimes it might be a choice. Which would you prefer to do? We have this amount of time. Which of these two things would you prefer to do? Sometimes, it may be a consequence thing. So, like with homework, it's due on this day. And if prioritizing isn't happening, if you're spending more time playing than working, if you're spending too much time, obviously I'm telling you, maybe asking, too much time on this kind of task because you're a perfectionist and like all the I's dotted and T's crossed, you have to determine what's going to be more important. Okay, planners, which may be used as early as middle school. And I know they make some for students, that doesn't mean they're the right ones for students. Paper planners work best if the student is a visual, tactile person. Okay, benefits include things like you can enter information quicker. That's assuming they write. Not all of them can. And as the generations have changed, more of them actually can do this quicker. Of course, they may also have carpal tunnel quicker, but tend to be less expensive. Record retention, you keep the papers. For some people, that's a good thing. Some people, not so much. No electricity or batteries. That can actually be a really good thing. For electronic planners, they're more for if the person is a digital linear person. Okay? So there are a lot of people, and I see them as adults all the time, who feel that they must have a smartphone because everybody else has a smartphone. Guess what? Not all people do well with smartphones. There are people for whom paper planners are much better. Same with students. Yes?
Quick question about paper planners. My son's in 7th grade, and their teachers are checking to make sure everything's written down. What we have difficulty with is he writes it down, let's say it's assigned today, he writes it down on Wednesday. And then it's due when?
Yep.
And it just sort of disappears.
Okay. So a couple of things with assignments. First is they need to either write in there, write with the assignment when it's due, or write something on the actual due date to say, X project due here. The other thing I really urge when I've worked with middle and high school students, I urge them to do the breaking down piece. So you have a paper to write. Let's talk about what has to happen. Okay, well first we got to do the research, and then we got to, whatever the steps are. Then you look at the amount of time needed for each of those, and then you actually block out that time in the schedule. That's where the shoe companies come in really handy. Okay, so for me, any task that I have has a place on my calendar with a time allotment. A planner allows lots of different things, but the pink things are, a planner allows you to gauge tasks length. So again, actually putting it in there, and to block out study time in the schedule. Now I know they don't want to study, but the thing is that things aren't going to get done if it's not blocked out. So, and that's also where you can lead by example. It's like, okay, I have to pay bills, so I have to block that out on my schedule. So that's a place where you can do examples. Glimpse daily and weekly tasks in one place. Now, let me give a precursor to that. Again, different people like different things. When I had a paper planner, I was a week at a glance vertical person. Okay, don't give me a day at a glance, don't give me 2 days at a glance, don't give me a month at a glance, give me a week at a glance. to know what's gonna work for them. But at some point, they need to get the idea around their weekly, monthly, daily tasks. And so, again, you have to sort of find out what's gonna work for them. So, write it down in the planner, add it up, estimate, decide when the tasks will be done, and then execute the plan. Again, this is good for adults